Uh, got a few days to think through that. One other item of business I wanted to get to, and this is my fault. We were doing the
Funny.
basketball preview with Mitch Light on Monday and went through the whole roster and we're pretty exhaustive with it, that is. And then a poster on our board pointed out you didn't even discuss Samir Sehic. So, given that, let's you and I have a go at it. What are your thoughts on him?
Man, you know what? 6'9", come out of my hometown in Houston, Texas. Beautiful touch for a big man. I love watching the stories about him and, how he's been, he's extremely tight knit family. And, the guy just polishes his game. He's big, he's strong, but he can shoot it from 18, 20 feet with a great stroke. He's got a super high basketball IQ and he's got some size about him. He's got some muscle already. He doesn't look like a guy who's coming in as a true freshman. Looks like looks like he's been a guy that's been in a college weightlifting program for a couple of years now,
Yeah.
and that's gonna bode well for him down on the block. And again, he's a guy that can extend defense, pull him out of that key with that shot. The question is, what will be his role in this rotation because it's already so deep.
Well, and that's an interesting question because he's a good player. I think any other year he plays, and I'm not saying that he won't play this year. I really don't know. I don't have a good feel at all on this point. But you look at them, and Jones and Cornette are guys that can go 30 minutes most nights. You've got Roberson can play some four. You've got Josh Henderson is in his sixth year. He's going to play those spots. It kind of comes down to, do you really want to give a guy, I don't know, maybe if a guy plays 8 minutes a game over 30 something games, that's maybe 250 minutes. And a lot of those are going to come in that early season schedule where they're going to just be blowing teams away. It kind of is to me, is it worth getting maybe a little bit of a boost there for giving up a year on the back end? I tend to think no, because I think he and some of those other freshmen are pretty good players. On the other hand, what if you get somebody hurt? What if it happens late in the year and then you didn't get him experience earlier? And what if it costs you a big game, say in the Sweet 16 or something like that? Then you say, well, maybe we should have. And to me, that's the quandary Kevin has with pretty much all these freshmen is there's not any place where any of them can come in. I'm not going to say can't make an impact. That's not what I mean, but where they're really sorely needed. It seems to me like Cameron Justice might be the guy most likely to play. And look, that could be completely wrong because we've got a month before the season starts, but just that shooting skill translates a lot of times, although they don't really need shooters either. I guess
Oh,
that's a long way of saying, what do you have to get now in order to justify the fifth year you get down the road? And to me, on this team, that's an important question to ask because again, you've got contributors everywhere.
in regards to him, and when I want to use him and I start weighing years and all this other stuff, I got to ask myself, does he bring something to the table that I'm deficient in?
Well, and that is a great point because I think he's a pretty good rebounder. They are deficient in defensive rebounding at times. They got pounded on the boards a year ago, but again, for him to be on the court, someone's got to come out. Do you yank Damian Jones? Do you yank Luke Cornett? I mean, don't you want those guys on the floor down crunch time? And see, that's the problem. He gives him a skill, but those other guys are terrific players too.
Yeah, and see that's the point. And see, both of those guys can shoot. One of them can shoot from half court, and the other one's a guy with super touch in the paint. I think it comes down possibly to exactly what you just said, and that's defensive rebound. I mean, I know that Samir can shoot, but so can the rest of the big men on this team. That's one of the good things about this team is their big men are good shooters. But we need a little bit more of a physical presence. Now, one guy that could determine a lot of that would be Dejiri Baptiste.
Right.
I mean, because this is a five with all kinds of size inside. Doesn't looks like he's been in the weight program his whole life. He's a guy you could probably get a lot from defensively, but at the same time, he might be a guy that could use a little bit more polishing. Why he could even have a higher upside than Samir he probably doesn't have quite the polished product that Samir does right now. So I think, and we'll see. I don't know that. Of course, again, these guys are freshmen and haven't actually taken the court. We can only prospect and speculate at this point. But I think you hit it right off the bat, and it was about defensive rebounding because the other things that he brings to the table, this team can already do.
Hashtag Kevin Stallings problems.
They're good problems to have right now. They